Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV, and we're here for the Checkered Flag show. Once again, it's your weekly news show. I know I've been doing it weekly for a while. It's because obviously, as you know, I've not been well. I will give you an update on that on Monday when I get some more sort of updates to that. But yeah, I'm trying to do the streams when I can, as much as I can, when I can, because I just sometimes I'm okay, sometimes I'm not. So I'll try and do as much as I can and bring these shows to you. But make sure you do smash the like button. Make sure you smash the subscribe button because, as it will say on the ticker below, it is for Children's Liver Disease Foundation. So please do yourself a favor. Please do smash that like button and subscribe. I'm going to do something different today. I'm actually going to do for this show for today. For this show, just going to put the link in the chat. If anyone wants to come on, they can do. You're more than welcome to. I don't usually do that now, but I thought I would do. Yeah. I Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's obviously to this week. Obviously, we've got the Turkish Grand Prix this weekend, but that's to do with a preview. So what I want to talk about this weekend, I want to look back at obviously we knew 2 weeks ago we saw Hamilton take his 100th Grand Prix victory. 100 Grand Prix. I'm getting even the shirt the Mercedes have put out. That 100 win shirt, I'm getting that because that is a special achievement. 105 pole positions, is it now? Let me go through the record. I want to show the record now that Hamilton has. Lewis Hamilton records. So, yeah. Nope. I want to go to this. Oh, that's a lot. That's actually. Do you know what? So I'm going to show you the records he's done so far. Let's have a look. Smash the like button, please. Smash the subscribe button. Let's have a look. So Formula 1 World Championships, if you know, 2008, 2014, 15, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that's like 4 championships in a row. If he wins it this season, he'll do what Schumacher did, which is win 5 titles in a row. Then obviously Constructors Champion in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now, here's the thing. People always said he's always got the best car, right? Now, he won it in 2008. It's a bit funny that it's the Constructors Championship. He didn't win the Constructors Championship in that season. Do you know why? Oh, let me think. Because Ferrari had a faster car, right? That's why, most of the time. So, might want to bear that in mind. DHR fastest lap award in 14, 15, 17, 19, and 20. There you go. So he didn't even win that in 2018, so he weren't over like in the fastest lap. He wasn't even fastest lap for that one. Hall Formula is an annual British honoring achievement. Wow, I didn't know he did that. So yeah. So actually, looking at his career, apart from 2009, 10, 11, and 13, he's won. So that 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2013. That's 4 seasons. He's completely won that trophy all that time, even though you've had Jenson Button, even Jenson Button in that time. So it's funny that. But his retirement, I think, in Italy was the first retirement since Austria 2018. So that's a record of how many? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 33, 33, 33, 33, 50, all the way up to that one, which was round 13, 63 race, 64 starters, 63 Grand Prix constantly. That's a record in itself. But yeah, anyway, like I'm saying, he's won so many other awards on top of that. But in terms of wins, I want to see like the wins. Let's bring it back up. Let's go all the way back up. So yeah, the main obviously ones: 100 wins, 176 times he's been on the podium, 101 pole positions, 57 fastest laps. So yeah, and 7 world titles. So like you can't obviously 100 wins, 176 podiums, 101 pole positions. The nearest challenger in pole positions is obviously Michael Schumacher at 69. In terms of wins, it's 9 above Lewis, the next competitor, which is Michael Schumacher again. So those records we thought that that no driver would smash, which was Schumacher's records, he's completely blown apart. And the only thing I could probably say that could be a judgment to that is that we've had more races since then. Unlike Schumacher, you could say they had 16 races a season. Maybe towards the end of his career, about 18 races a season. He's had 20 odd races a season, 21. Like at the start of his career, it was only 18, 19, and then now it's 21 to 23. So loads of them. So I'm just gonna go through the rest of these results. So my bad. Sorry, I do apologize. But yeah, like I'm sitting and saying as well, and I want to sit here and say as well, I'm going to go through some of my sort of what I would say his greatest victories were. So for me, I'm going to show you that for me is his greatest wins. So I'm going to show. Let's have a look. I'm going to go through it. So for me is I'm going to go through it one by one. So make sure you keep smashing that like button and subscribe button, please. And I'm going to go through it. So I'm going to start with 2007. Let's start with this one. 2007. We'll start from the start of his career. I'm just going to know if this is not 10 to 1, it's just from the start of his career to now. Japanese Grand Prix 2007. Now, obviously, I could go back to Canada in the first one, which is great, and especially with what happened during the Grand Prix. The reason also I say this one, though, is because we got to a critical stage in the championship. I think it was 2 races left after that race. It was chucking it down with rain. really torrential conditions. I think even like by today's standards would have probably just cancelled the race, to be honest. They wouldn't have gone ahead with it, to be honest. It was atrocious. Like you're seeing sometimes down the pit straight, they weren't going full throttle, and you could see him is like kicking up like a wall of spray to the point that the track looked like he was driving on a river. Absolutely torrential conditions, number of safety cars. Alonso, who was his teammate at the time and world champion, double world champion, crashed out. Vettel crashed out, hitting Webber famously behind their safety car because he couldn't see him. That's how bad the conditions were. It was atrocious, and I think it was at the Fuji Speedway, wasn't that Suzuka? Was it? No. So, and despite that, he just calmly. I think he made one mistake. I think he made, but other than that, he had a big enough lead, 13-second lead, which he managed to maintain throughout the race. And it was one of the sort of greatest wet weather drives you'll ever see. It was just on a different level. And I think even the commentator said it as he crossed the line. That was a drive of a champion. And that drive itself gave him the right to deserve to win that title that season. And let's not forget, if it weren't for, people say it's the mistake in China. Yes, McLaren made a mistake in China. Right? Hamilton didn't make the mistake. McLaren made the mistake by not calling him in earlier. Right? When they knew the tyre condition on the telemetry. The other mistake is McLaren, right, screwed up their reliability in Brazil. Their reliability in Brazil was gone. They had no reliability. It was poor. Right? And he ended up having to sort out gear settings and settings to try and get the car working again, which dropped into the back of the grid, which then lost in the title. If he did not have that moment, he would have won it at a cruise. Easy. Like Raikkonen would not have won it because he only lost it by a point, like dropping to 7th. So we would be talking about title number 9. I want to move. So I'll go to 2008. And the reason I want to do this through, like, trying to see if I could do this for each Grand Prix, because he has won in every single season. This is why I want to do it. So 2008. Now, I could either do 2 races here. British Grand Prix or the Monaco Grand Prix. And I'm going to go British Grand Prix. The British Grand Prix, and Monaco Grand Prix could put up there as well. British Grand Prix. Now, he had a poor qualifying to start with, which dropped it to 4th. He made a mistake in qualifying, which meant he only qualified 4th for that Grand Prix. But it was wet weather. It was pouring rain yet again. And again, his skills outshone everyone. Within 200 yards of the start, he had already jumped up to challenge his teammate. He'd gone into turn 1 from 4th, jumped everyone else to challenge his teammate, and literally that much, not a square little piece of paper. I think even they touched. That's how close they were from hitting each other. But immediately was hounding Kovalainen, got past Kovalainen, and completely dominated the race from here on in. You had Massa spinning out. I think his title rival Massa spun out about 5 times. He was spinning. He couldn't ever put the power down. Yet Hamilton was just on a different league. Everyone was trying to go. I think Raikkonen was challenging at one point, but he decided to stay on ints when the weather got worse, which meant he had no grip. Yet Hamilton took on fresh tyres. He made probably one error, which is just rolling across the grass. Everyone else was making spins, spinning out of Grand Prix, spinning out of their positions. He had total control, and I think he lapped everyone up to 4th and was about a minute in front, and sometimes lapping 4 seconds faster than anyone else. Big up Unknown. Hey, my guy Steven, how you been, man? I hope you are well. I'm okay, man. Like I said, I do my streams as much as I can, but I can't guarantee. I set my streams up, mate, and I can't guarantee it will be there. Like, I'll be doing it on that time because it just depends how I feel. They've upped my painkillers. I'll quickly explain it. They've upped my because of the pain. They've upped my painkillers, and because of that, I'm taking a lot more painkillers, which means I could end up completely out of it. Which means I can't do the stream. I just won't be able to do it. So some days it might be okay, some days it won't. So it'll vary. So big up, Danny. Hamilton's first championship win was a bit controversial. What was the guy in front of him doing on the last corner at Brazil? No. People want to keep coming up with this conspiracy. That's crap, right? It was about 5 or 6 laps left, but the dry tire until the last lap had been working in those conditions. And with 2 laps to go, he had dropped out of the position to Vettel, right? Though he was fighting to keep in front, which meant he was going to lose the championship. Glock had stayed on dry tyres, thinking that he would be able to tiptoe around the track, even though there's 5 laps left, and get round. Until up to the last lap, even though the cyclotrons had dropped off, he thought it did look like he was going to tiptoe around and win it because he was that far in front. He could have done that. But what happened was on that last lap, the rain intensity got even worse, which meant that even though he tried to tiptoe around, he could barely touch the throttle. Don't forget, it was the first year without traction control either. So he could barely touch the throttle, couldn't do anything. So if you were losing 3 or 4 seconds a lap, he was now losing 3-4 seconds a sector. So by the time to the last corner, Hamilton had only just managed to catch up to him. So that was down to Toyota picking the wrong tyres. That had nothing to do with Hamilton whatsoever, or Mercedes or McLaren Mercedes. So there you go. Right. That's not controversial. What was controversial is Ferrari tried to dug him out of that title win. Right. Belgian Grand Prix, he should have won that legitimately. He was told when he overtook Raikkonen into the bus stop and then cut the chicane and then overtook him into the source. He said, was that okay, letting him back through and then overtaking him in the next corner? And Charlie Whiting said, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Then the stewards, right, and Charlie Whiting, then all say, oh, no, it ain't fine, right, 20-second penalty, right, for gaining advantage. Well, you let him back through. Then they come up and say, oh, you got to wait a corner. No one in the rule book. Like, a lot of things just like they tried to dig him out on. So there you go. I could go on forever about that. So I want to go on to 2009. Now, 2009 was not a good year for Hamilton. The car was appalling. I think even at the Turkish Grand Prix, even radioed in during the Grand Prix saying, guys, we need a new car if we are to win these races. We need a new car, not a new package. Aerodynamic package. We need a new car. Right? The car was terrible. Yet he still managed to win 2 Grand Prix out of it. And people say he can only win in a good car. These people don't know F1, clearly, and obviously don't follow his career or know nothing, clearly. And by the way, you do need a good car to win a championship, because even Ayrton Senna, right, even though we keep saying Ayrton Senna was the number 1, right, the best driver ever, even he couldn't win in the McLaren in 92 when it was so much slower than the Williams. It's funny, isn't it? It don't take a lot to jig you about Hamilton. No, man. So, do you know what? I can't stand people hating on him. I don't get the hate. I don't get it. Right? You're generally hating on someone who's just done well at what he's done. Because what? You get bored of winning? Or you get either bored of winning, you've been bored of winning, or you just don't like him. I don't get it. I just generally don't get it. Right? It should be someone that we should all in this country be looking up to. Like, I just don't get it. So, like, it's all this, like, say, like, all this tax thing, because everyone else, like Jensen Button, David Coulthard, all stay in Monaco. He stays in Monaco. He gets accused of no one moans at David Coulthard and Button, but when Hamilton goes to Monaco, we all jump up and down saying he's doing tax evasion, when actually it came out in a statement to the press that he's one of the highest payers of his tax. Yeah. So go check your information. Like, these people, honestly, and some people on YouTube, and they just generally don't hate him. And it's funny is when we all saw the racist abuse he got in after the British Grand Prix because of a racing incident, right? And any F1 fan would know it was a racing incident. They were both at fault. But the funny thing is, we saw that, like, the racism, and obviously on this channel we called it out straight away, and I was obviously, as a Hamilton fan, fuming about it. But I would be fuming about it no matter who it is. Like, it's funny that there's some people on other channels who wouldn't call it out, who didn't want to call it out because I don't like him. It's funny that. Phil Foden, hello, bro. Arteta out. Big up, man. I hope you're well. If that is actually Phil Foden, big up, man. Like, love the hairdo for the Euros, mate. Like, absolute quality. 2009 Singapore Grand Prix. That's another Grand Prix as well. But like I said, to everyone, do smash the like, smash the subscribe as well. Yeah, do share the stream. This is all for children's liver disease, as you can see down the bottom. So subscribing and sharing the stream would help us a lot. 2009 Singapore Grand Prix. Again, the car was, like I said, extremely poor. And Singapore, I think he won by qualifying just by, I think there was a mistake by Brawn. I think Barrichello put it in the wall, which I think in the end gave him pole position. But after that, he took control and controlled the race perfectly with the fuel stops, the pit tire stops as well, because they did fuel stops back then. So, yeah. I am at Andorra now. Big fan of. I'm at Andorra now. Big fan of you. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. Hey, Steve. You see my other comment, Steve. Oh no. Sorry. I don't hate Hamilton. He's world class. He's a bit of a muppet because he's a goon. I'm only joking. Yeah, he's one of the goats, mate. Yeah, mate. He's a goat. He's a goat. He's a goat. Trust me. Dislikes. Like, it's probably because I'm supporting Hamilton. That's probably why. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to move on to 2010. I'm going to try and pick one out of 2010. I don't think there was many that he did in 2010. I'd say the Turkish Grand Prix. I know it opened up with the incident between the two Red Bulls, but then he had to fight with his teammate and had a proper battle with his teammate, which I think was a quality weekend. Oh, 2010. 2010, the 2010 Canadian Grand Prix, sorry, was a great one. It was a good one as well. So I'll pick that for me. 2011. Some people would say China, but you could also say Nürburgring was a great performance. Right round the outside of Fernando Alonso. Not bad. Right. 2011 Chinese Grand Prix for me. Quality. Him and Michael Schumacher were the two goats, mate. Yeah, I would put Senna up there, mate, as well. Senna was like, things Senna could do was just mad. It was absolutely bonkers. Deserves so much more than what he got. Chinese Grand Prix. The Chinese Grand Prix. The thing about that Grand Prix was he was fighting from all the way through the field and overtaking, but he nearly didn't even take the start because the car had a problem and he couldn't even get it started. Just managed to get it started before the pit lane closed, so it meant it would have started the pit lane. got it to the grid, and only just managed to get it fully functioning and working just before the race start or the formation lap. So he was lucky he even took the start. So the fact he managed to do that and then managed to overtake and managed to win the Grand Prix against a Red Bull and Vettel, who at the time had won the first 2 races, and at a cruise, they were dominant. They were dominant. They were long gone. Like Vettel was dominant that year in the Red Bull. The Red Bull was clear of everyone, and yet he still managed to win that Grand Prix, Nürburgring as well. I think Abu Dhabi as well. He won in that one. Overall, in that season, it was probably the worst season he's probably had in F1. I would say, though he won more Grand Prix in 2009, 2011. He had so many problems with about hitting Massa, I think, most of the time. And yeah, I think that was sort of a dark time for Hamilton. So I thought, yeah, it was a different. You see me, if you have, leave a comment, and always comments on it. Yeah, big up Static. I hope you're well. Big up, man. I stopped watching in 25th. Danny, honestly, 2022 next season, even though this season's been quality, 2022, it's where it's going to be at, mate. Right? The rules have all been thrown on their head and they've managed to develop a car that can closely follow another car so they can overtake each other. You're going to see more overtaking than ever before. It will be racing that we have never seen before, because now there's restrictions on developments as well to cut costs and to help smaller teams have a chance of winning Grand Prix. It is all going to be a leveler and give everyone a chance to win Grand Prix again, not just Ferrari and Red Bull. So trust me, you will want to watch this season. You will want to watch it. Trust me. And I would love to see the new game when I get it. Still get the PlayStation games, mate. Yeah, I've got the new one right now. I've been playing it. It's quality. It's that the games get better and better every year. When you think it can't get any better, it gets better, doesn't it? I'm gonna quickly move on. 2012, and I'm gonna go with. There's a number of Grand Prix. I'm gonna say not Canada. And I'm gonna say the US Grand Prix, United States Grand Prix. Right. Proper battle with the championship rival. Art McLaren, big up, yo, Yank Talking Smack. I hope you're well. I did leave the link in here, guys. Please do smash the like button and share the stream. It's really, really important you do so. Will be interesting to see how Hamilton. Yeah, he'll catch up. Don't worry, man. He'll catch up. Don't you worry. Yeah, United States Grand Prix, proper fight with Vettel. One of the first battles properly with Vettel as well. And again, managed to outpace him. And even though he had the faster car, and managed to beat him. And to be fair, I think that was one of the times where Hamilton did have the faster car. But then to be fair, I don't think it was him that let him. It wasn't him that let him down. To be honest, he didn't really make any mistakes. I think it was down to the team. The team again, McLaren, reliability issues, pit stop issues. They really screwed that weekend up, that season up for both drivers, not just Hamilton but Button as well. Because don't forget, Button was his teammate. Then obviously the move to Mercedes, and you can only pick up the Hungarian Grand Prix. That's the only Grand Prix he won. But again, fighting with a very dominant, how am I supposed to say? A very dominant Red Bull. Sorry. I'm gonna go to 2014 Bahrain for me. Bahrain Grand Prix. The Bahrain Grand Prix was an out-and-out fight between Rosberg and Hamilton, and Rosberg finally got a wake-up call to say, "Yeah, mate, this guy means business, mate. Right, you ain't gonna have it all your own way." And my God, how Hamilton Hamilton was clearly slower than Rosberg throughout the whole Grand Prix. Lap after lap after lap, Rosberg was trying to overtake him down into turn 1, then into turn 4. And Hamilton would not, even at one point, the Rosberg looked like he got past. And then Hamilton comes, I think, right round the outside and takes the position back in the next corner. How he kept him behind, I have not got the funniest idea, but he managed to do it. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable how he did that. Like, it was, I've never seen anything like it. Like, someone who can see is not as fast and yet still managed to do it. 2015, I'd say 2015 was more, you could say the US Grand Prix of 2015 because it was top and turvy with the weather. Red Bull were fast at one point and then they had to fight through that. 2015 British Grand Prix. And I'll tell you for why. The call, this was his call at Stowe. At Stowe, he felt rain on his visor at the end of the Grand Prix and called it. And he said, I've got to get in. I've got to make a pit stop. And pitted for wets. And it was an exact lap to do it because the next lap, everyone was falling off the road because of the rain. Right? And he gained so much time on that lap. He pitted on the exact time you needed to pit for ints. Everyone else pitted one lap later, by which point they were falling off the road. How he called that, I don't know. It's just sometimes you just feel like weather on your visor and you're just like, I've got to do it now. It's that heavy. So it was a very late call, but it was an unbelievable call. Stephen, mate, I nearly watched it for 20 years. I started in 1996. Oh, Damon Hill. Damon Hill was champion that year. Yeah. With his fight, Schumacher. 97 was Villeneuve. I think I can go through it all. I think 50 was. I think I can go. Yeah, I think I can go like through all the world champions. To be honest, I think I really can. So where is it? Here, I'm gonna go for it. Let's see if I can go for it. So Giuseppe Farina, I know that one because he won the first race as well. Everyone thinks it was Fangio. It wasn't. Then it was Fangio. Then it was Ascari, 52, 53. Fangio, 54 Fangio, 55 Fangio, 56 Fangio, 57 Fangio. Then he retired. Michael Hawthorne in 58. Brabham 59, Brabham 60. Then it was Phil Hill in 61. Graham Hill won it in 62. Then it was his teammate Jim Clark. Then it was John Surtees in between the two Jim Clarks, 63 and 65. So 64 Surtees. 66 Jack Brabham in his own car. I remember that one. 67. 68 was Graham Hill. This is Denny Hume. Jackie Stewart, Jochen Rindt, Jackie Stewart, 71, Emerson Fittipaldi, 72. You all right, Connor? How are you, mate?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm going through it right now. 73 Stewart, 74 Fittipaldi, 75 Lauda, 76 Hunt, 77 Lauda, 78 Andretti, 79 Jody Scheckter in the Ferrari, Alan Jones 80, Piquet 81, Keke Rosberg 82, Piquet 83, Lauda 84, the two Prost championships in 85, 86, Piquet 87, Senna 88, Prost 89, Senna in 1990, Senna in 91, Mansell in 92, Prost in 93, and then he retired. Schumacher in 94, Schumacher in 95, 96 was 96 was Damon Hill, 97 was Villeneuve, 98 was Mika Hakkinen, 99 was Mika Hakkinen, 2000 was Schumacher. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, all Schumacher. 2005 Alonso. 2006 Alonso. 2007 is Raikkonen. 2008 was 2007 should have been Hamilton. Sorry, 2008. 2008 Hamilton. 2009 was Button. 2010 was Vettel. 11 Vettel. 12 Vettel. 13 Vettel. 14 Hamilton. 15 Hamilton. 16 Rosberg. 17 Hamilton, 18 Hamilton, 19 Hamilton, 20 Hamilton, 2021 Hamilton as well.
Got all but the last one.
I'll go more.
Sound like Sebastian Vettel when he did his. Although I also love. Have you watched the off the grid video of them having to do that challenge?
Oh no, yeah.
So Sebastian Vettel got every single one. He did not miss a single one. But the greatest one was Mick. His whole goal. He's like, I just want to get to my dad. And so when he got to 2004, he just goes, my dad, my dad, my dad, my dad.
To be fair, when I got I think the one that will catch you out is probably Alan Jones and Denny Hulme one.
Yeah.
Them two catch you out.
The interesting one I like to look at too, besides like who they were, is the percentage of points they got and their age. Because like with Farina, who won it when he, the first guy to ever win it was 44 already when he won the first one. Like the average age until pretty much 1960 was in your early 40s. Were the ones winning it. Fangio, like Ascari was young, was 34, 35, and he was the youngest by like 8 years. Fangio was about
50 odd.
Yeah, Fangio was 43, 44, 45, and 46 when he won his 4-year streak.
You couldn't do it nowadays.
And then Hawthorne was only 29.
But you could get with it back then because cars were slower.
Brabham and Hill were very old as well. Graham Hill, 68, he was 39. Brabham was 40.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And Andretti in 78 was 38.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I think like you've been probably watching it for maybe just the last.
I started last season.
Last season.
Yeah.
But if you look back on it now, what would you say is probably Hamilton? In your opinion, Hamilton's probably sort of greatest performance?
I think his greatest. I can tell you what his worst bit of bad luck I've ever seen was the race he was doing, and I can't remember. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the track. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive myself on Formula One.
Brazil.
But he was driving and he went into the pits and ended up in the gravel trap and just got absolutely stuck in the gravel trap. And you can see all the marshals China's such a great racetrack. I love racing that track.
That wasn't so much him. That was more sound of the team. That
back straight, that last back straight's my favorite straight in pretty much all of Formula One to do.
I think that was down to the team. Like I said, 2007. My greatest one would say, my greatest performance I've probably seen him was probably 2018.
2018 is a pretty good one.
2018. I've seen 2018 Monza. I think the best qualifying performance, 2018 Singapore.
He's had some. It's hard with the greats like that. It's really hard to with the greats because you look at people. Like
sorry,
you can easily check out.
I think 2008 Silverstone. Sorry.
Well, yeah, 2008's got to be a big one because, of course, that that was his first one. He was with a McLaren that wasn't amazing, but was decent enough to get himself there. But with these greats, you look at Fangio, you look at Schumacher, you look at even someone like Jacques Villeneuve, who was a very, very good racer, Hamilton as well, Sebastian Vettel, these guys who were very good for sustained periods of times and weren't just one-off drivers. It's really hard to pick out their best because they had so many expert drives where they just were very. I watched a couple weeks ago the Schumacher documentary.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a touch of
quality.
It's amazing, but it also breaks your heart. The ending with Mick and his sister absolutely shatters your heart into pieces.
Yeah, man. I remember hearing that news that night, and I was like, because obviously Schumacher was the reason I started watching F1 in the first place. It was like as a young kid. So when you hear that, I was like, oh my god. No way.
Yeah, see, for me, I was always wondering, I'm like, why do we never I remember when I first started watching, and I of course knew. It's funny, even when I wasn't a Formula One fan, I knew Schumacher was like the greatest of all time, considered to be the best to ever do it. And I was like, why do we never like see him at races and stuff like that? And then I looked it up and found out what happened. I'm like, oh shit.
Mm. Yeah, and plus he kept his family private for so long.
He was a very private person.
So
he was
a big
extremely
thing.
private.
So doing that documentary was actually probably a big thing for them.
Yeah, I think that was a big deal because, yeah, like you said, he was very, very although the old school photos of him with like his shirt off doing karaoke, I think just shows kind of he had such a It's funny because sometimes you see guys who are kind of quiet have the biggest personalities when they finally open up and start like doing stuff.
But it was one of those people that he had to trust you before you started opening.
Yeah, if you got in the circle, it was a good time, but until you got in that circle, you weren't gonna know shit.
Yeah. He bought. Yeah, I did, and I bought it on eBay, mate. I didn't spend it on. I didn't buy it on the website. So
yeah, I texted you. I figured out my name for our youngest driver on the grid because I have Mazepin and it's now Shitnoda.
Shitnoda. We just call him Spinoda now.
Spinoda.
I bet you had Hamilton. He's one of the goats, but Schumacher's my number one goat.
I think both Hamilton, and this is someone who literally just joined, so I'm kind of neutral because I'm not a Hamilton hater because I literally just started last year. I started watching this last year, so I'm kind of neutral when it comes to the debate. I think both Hamilton and Schumacher have their reasons and their evidence that you can easily say one versus the other is the GOAT. A lot of times
I've never seen the one thing I will maintain, and I've never seen Hamilton, unlike Schumacher, where he's so determined to win it, will push it over the edge and will start doing things that are not in the rule book.
Albon.
That wasn't deliberate. That's not.
Sure as hell look deliberate,
mate. That's not the equivalent of driving into someone or just deliberately.
No, I remember. Yeah, no, I know.
Or deliberately just parking the car in the middle of Monaco to get the yellow flags out.
No, yeah, I know. I always like. For me, it's funny. I watched it yesterday, and this is how you know someone's just extremely talented. Someone who I think is going to go down as one of the, at least for me, one of the most underrated great drivers to ever be on the paddock is Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, mate.
His pure talent. Because I watched him when he went over to NASCAR and he did his truck race and he did the NASCAR race. And
to be fair, he shouldn't have won a championship. Hamilton should have won the championship. But
but with or without the championship, I don't know if you've seen like his NASCAR races that he did when he left the sport for a bit. The announcers, he finished in the top 20 in the first race out of like 40. And then he finished in the top 30. Yeah, and then he finished in the top 30. The only reason he finished outside the top 20 in the NASCAR race was because a piece of someone's car popped off and went into his hood, so he had to go into pit lane to get it off. But the announcers the entire time, both races are going, how is he this good? Like they're absolutely amazed how he's been able to just literally
some people just got it. Some people just naturally can get
driving a truck at 180 miles an hour. And he's just he gets. I think he got 15th or 14th.
Anyone can just. There's some people that just naturally can get in a car and just naturally get this. It's like sometimes you see on the road. There's some people that are just naturally on the road. They can get in any car, whether it's a manual, automatic, and they never have to adjust. They just go and drive. Yeah,
he's just incredible.
And you get some people where there's some people I know where that if they switch to an automatic to a manual, they get themselves adjusted and take some time to get adjusted to it.
Yeah, but I think with him retiring this year. I think it's going to be a big hit to Formula One in general. I think honestly, I know there's a lot of speculation. It was coming.
It's coming, and it's like probably I think in 2 years' time, it's gonna.
It's gonna be Hamilton.
It's gonna be Hamilton, and
because he's got nothing left to prove.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm not gonna be in tears. I'm gonna be in tears about it.
But it's something where it's expected. And I think Kimi Räikkönen, it was due for him to finally say, you know what, I've fallen all the way down to Alfa Romeo, to a car that's kind of having to be the best of the last. Then he's kind of like, I've got nothing left to do here. You know, he's won a championship. He's won tons of races. He's the longest ever. He's had the most races ever out of anybody.
But then, to be fair, Danny, Schumacher was just as good as well. Is that the thing is they're so close together. No one overtakes better in history, and Formula One. Not want to ask Verstappen fans that.
And I think the one thing that we'll miss, I think the one thing that'll be missed on the paddock with Kimi Räikkönen is his as much as he called this a hobby, but his one-liners and his just like manners. But I think it'll be missed his ability to just be such a respectful driver.
Yeah.
His ability
he
will race you hard, but he will give you room. I've never seen an instance where he's.
I'll give you an example. It's like 2018, right? When he was in the Italian Grand Prix, Hamilton was racing him hard and got to a point where Hamilton did get the outside, and he went on the outside of him into that first chicane with Filio. He could have quite easily just forced him off, or squeezed him and make him go onto the escape road, and he didn't. He gave him just enough space so he could put a car with space in there.
Yeah,
he gave Hamilton the room to overtake Lily. And people could say you're not being harsh enough, you're not fighting enough. But there you go.
It's just being fair.
Yeah,
I think too much. We aren't. I think too much. It's if you try and pass me, I'm going to send you off.
Yeah, I've got to move on quickly to the last point before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Which is about the Qatar Grand Prix. So the Qatar Grand Prix has been declared. Yeah, we'll give an opinion in a minute, but yeah, obviously the Qatar Grand Prix has been called in. No, it's not in frigging MotoGP. Thank you. It's in F1. F1. So let me have a look.
This is their first time in Qatar, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to see. I think it's the first time ever in Qatar, and there's a look at the circuit, the Lusail International Circuit.
I can see one corner already. I'm guessing that bottom line is that start-finish line, where it's going to be that long. I'm wondering if that's the start-finish. Yeah, that for me, that first corner looks like
like
trouble.
Qatar.
It looks like
Qatar is where it is. I want to try and get a look of this circuit.
57 laps. That's not bad on lap time either. Like 57 laps isn't actually that bad.
Yeah, so I'm just having a look. So yeah, it's going in that direction. So that hairpin there.
That's going to be a difficult turn one. That's going to cause a lot of accidents on the start.
Wicked.
And this hairpin in turn, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Who designed this circuit?
The hairpin in 6 is going to be a disaster.
Yeah,
that's going to be an absolute disaster. I can already tell you right now. Looking at the first when you booted this up, and the first thing I saw was the hairpin. I'm like, that's going to be a disaster corner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to quickly show a picture of it, just pictures of it. But it looks
like a good circuit. It's better than a lot of. It's better than a good amount of circuits that we usually see.
I just want the good enough straight that you can overtake on, and I think you got one there.
I think my favorite two tracks that I love to watch are Austria and Australia.
So there's its circuit in its form. So there's turn 1.
You can see on the bottom, right there. That's an interesting picture of it. You can see the one next to it actually shows it like in brights.
Right, so there's the pit lane.
Interesting. Where do you think the pit entry is going to be then? Is it going to be right at the beginning of it, or because I'm trying to think?
If there's not a lot, if it's not that far. I mean, some like if it's not actually that big. It's quite small.
Yeah.
So the lap time would only be like maybe a 110, 120.
Yeah, you're looking at 109s possibly at that point.
If the cars are fast enough.
I mean, I think you're probably going to see anywhere from 110 to 113, 114.
I'm just hoping that Herman Tilke's got nowhere near the circuit.
That looks interesting. I think the pit lane, I kind of like the pit lanes where it's a shorter pit lane. I don't really like Monaco because it takes so long to pit. And there's no really room. I love it as a street circuit and the historical part of it, but I hate that there's really nowhere to overtake in Monaco and it's a super long pit lane.
$58 million. Opened in 2004 for Qatar motorcycle. It's for motorcycle GP. It's been designed. Who designed this? Who designed this guy? Who designed it? That's what I want to know. Why is it you can have a sign where it's F1 grade 1? Obviously, it's got to be in there. If there's certain grades to it, and to get F1 status, you have to meet the FIA's grade 1.
Oh wow, that's actually not. That's actually a very, very. We're nowhere near what the lap time is. But that's also GP. So the record time for GP2 Asia was a 1:38.7.
Yeah. So it could be 1:28.
Yeah, like low one, like high 120s, 130.
Okay. So we were way off. There you go. So there you go.
Yeah, we were a good bit off. We were not as close as we
so
thought.
Yeah, so that's it. Obviously, it's achieved FIA grade 1 status. That's the status you'll need if you want to be on the F1 calendar. I want to try and it doesn't tell you where it's been, who's designed the thing. That's the
I
thing.
know. I'm trying to look as well. I do like. So only 16 corners, which isn't too terrible. I think the hardest corners are probably going to be turn 1, turn 6, and turn 10.
The layout was approved by.
Actually, 6-7's actually. If you look at the track itself, 6-7 looks like it's going to be a difficult, like back-to-back corners because it's a hairpin into kind of almost another hairpin.
So it could be. I think it's another night race, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely is going to be another night race, which is good for me because hopefully that means that it's going to be pretty early. It's not going to be too early in the morning for me to get up and watch.
Yeah.
Because for me, like these races that we've had in the recent times have all been 4 a.m. my time.
Oh damn, man!
So I haven't been able to get up to watch them because every single Russia, Japan, like everything are all like 4 in the morning for me or 5 in the morning. So I just appreciate going back to not having it be first thing in the freaking morning. Who designed?
Yeah, I can't find it. Who designed it?
10-year race deal. See, I like the circuit, but I don't like how this has come about.
Yeah, I mean, why don't? Well, go explain.
For me, because you know why this has come about, and it's all about money. And for me, part of me, I'm a big historian. I love history, and I don't like when we see historical tracks fall to the wayside for money. So while it's a very good track, I don't like seeing tracks that have a bigger history in F1 be just kind of thrown away because Formula One's like, oh, we're going to get a crap ton of money from the Middle East. So let's go race there. Like we race enough in the Middle East if we're fully honest with ourselves. We race quite a bit in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, we do.
Do we really need to add another one in Qatar? And if so, is this something where we see us?
I'll tell you one thing though. It's one thing we can do, unlike the bloody football.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, and for me, do you see this being where all the Middle Eastern races are going to be packed into one, or do you think they're going to separate them and make them very far apart from each other going into next year when we know Qatar is going to be on the list?
I think they might spread it out over the season, to be honest.
I know they love to travel. It makes me. I'm always curious to be like, why don't you just put races that are like very close to each other, next to each other?
Like sometimes you know, like when you get Monaco and then you get Canada straight after it.
And it's just like, why are we going that far when you could just substitute that for like Silverstone?
Yeah.
And not go nearly as far, and you're wasting a lot less plane.
Because they love to end their European season at some point and then do flyaways. So they like to have a flyaway period.
I'd also love it because if they can push the American circuit to the back half of the season, because next season my goal is to go to one of the GPs here in the US and do a weekend vlog of me going to all to FP 1, 2, and 3 and quali and the race. I've even convinced my fiance to come with me and watch it with me, even though she does not like sports and knows nothing about it. I've convinced her that I'm going to get her in some McLaren gear and she's going to come watch it with me.
I'm glad she's going to be well impressed with that.
I got lucky. She doesn't like sports, but she at least tolerates that I am a diehard in many different sports.
Don't, honestly. Yeah, man.
So, like, I love the circuit, but I don't like how it's coming about. Is probably how I'd
No,
put it in simple terms. I like the because if you look at 6-7, 6-7 looks like it's going to be a very interesting back-to-back corners because it looks like literally 2 hairpins back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so it looks like a great circuit. Like if you substituted this for another Middle Eastern circuit, maybe like an Azerbaijan or an Abu Dhabi, and you're like, all right, fine, we'll put Qatar in its place, and maybe brought back another historic circuit instead, then I'd be fine. But I think if you're taking out a circuit that's been going for a while that's not in the Middle East, just to get another one in the Middle East because it's a lot of money in Formula One's pockets, then I'm kind of questionable on it. I'm excited for this weekend, though. It's going to be a hell of a race this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We got the preview coming up.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, in about an hour and a half. We should have some other guests coming on for that. So yeah, Yank, Connor, you always want to come on?
Yeah, I should be able to come on for like 20 minutes. I actually am leaving on holiday today. I'm going up to visit my parents.
Okay.
So I leave for the airport at 9:30 UK. So I should be able to be on for a little bit, but then I'll have to pop off and go to the airport because I'm flying up to. I haven't seen my parents since June.
Yeah, that's fine.
They live. I was supposed to go last month, but my father got COVID, and so I had to put it off for a month. So I'm going up to see my parents, my brother who's in uni.
I might do it I might start off for about 15 minutes before.
Okay.
So we could just just do it like a 15-minute intro to it. So
yeah, just pop me the link.
Yeah, it won't be too long. It'll be about
I'm still riding high from McLaren's 1-2, man. I'm riding so high from that McLaren one. I was literally that 1-2 happened. I was riding about 6 feet above the ground for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
I nearly did my own shoey.
Do you know what? I still got to do the watching on from the Russian Grand Prix because I had to do it because obviously Hamilton won. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, definitely.
I want to do like a tribute one to him, but the problem is like you got to try and be careful of any clips you use to do like a tribute video. You got to be careful of copyright and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I love this season, though. I will say before we go, I love this season purely because no one has been able to break away, really. You look at 3rd and 4th, Bottas and Norris are right there. Norris is only, I think, 2 or 3 points behind Bottas. And that battle for first place is, I think, separated by about 2 or 3 points.
So battle for first place in the drivers' time is 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points, and it's 3 points. And it's 3 points between, and 3rd place is 3 points between Bottas and Norris. This is why we love racing.
Oh, Bottas, do you know what? That last Grand Prix, Bottas really just pissed me off.
He bossed it, though.
How can you not keep Bottas behind? How can you not keep Verstappen behind? How?
I don't know.
Right? Honestly, Verstappen, why is it Verstappen can get past and you can't?
I think Bottas was trying to focus on conserving his tires because he was coming up from the back of the field. He was honestly, because he had that big scrap and that big battle with Leclerc and Perez. I think this weekend will be interesting, though. You have a lot of people starting. Sainz is going to be at the very back of the grid. Hamilton's getting a 10-place penalty off the bat no matter where he finishes, so he needs to finish first so that he can be in that middle.
Oh, he's been top of the session, I think, in both sessions today.
Yeah, Alpine's been frisky, though. Alpine's been fairly frisky.
If he's 4 or 5 tenths clicking at everyone, I'm not too worried then because then if you get 11th, that means he'll get second. If he
do you think a McLaren ends up on the top row because of the driver penalty, or do you think it's going to be Verstappen Bottas?
I don't know. I want to have a look at there doesn't seem to be any problems with the weather.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about this later. We got a whole show.
Yeah, we got a whole to do on this. I don't know what we're talking about now. But make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, people. We're back about 8:15, 8:15 to 8:30, something like that. We'll get it started. And it says 8:30, but we'll get it started around about then. We'll kick it off. Make sure
like the video. Anybody who dislikes doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Make sure you like the video.
No, you want to dislike it? You don't like the content? Dislike it, mate. You're all helping anyway.
DM me exactly why you don't like it, and I'll show you why you're a fool.
Yeah. Or mate, you could just dislike it as much as you want. Right? It all helps boost my channel, so
Interact as long as you're interacting, we don't care.
yeah. This you could share it saying how much of a prick I am, right? Like do it because it all gains traction.
It's all it's all going to gain viewers.
Even if you share it saying how much of a I am and you shouldn't watch it, people will then go and watch it because it's the opposite thing they go and do. So there you go. So go and do it. I don't care. Right, you ain't going anywhere. So there you go.
Cheers for having me on. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, see you in a bit. Take care, guys. Bye.